our souls and our hearts, oriented around the Advent season. And today we're looking at this question: who is this message for? We have these beautiful messages at Christmas, and who is it for? Because it's easy to think, and we see this all the time in religious circles, that it's for certain people. It's for this chosen group, and that inevitably being the chosen group ends up being the group we've chosen. And we got to be super careful of that. I mean, God is much more about this is good news for all nations. This is good news for everyone across the board. And that's why we need to continue to come back to that, continue to lean into like the universality of this message and the universality of God's love. Like, even if that's what people agree on, just that God's love is this incredible force in the universe. That's what people come to agree on. Beautiful stuff. So I want to read you a piece out of the book, Secrets of Heaven. This is number 2253. When the Lord was in the world, he had no other life than the life of love for the entire human race. And again, that life really begins, the physical life begins at Christmas, which he felt a burning desire to save forever. And that line, just beautiful, beautiful thoughts in there. That idea of the life of love, like that's what God was trying to live. That's what Jesus was living. And it was for everyone. And it's interesting because Jesus constantly in this journey that starts at Christmas, he's consistently cutting across all the different lines that we might imagine. You have the wise men. Obviously, the wise men took all this time of study and all this time of journey. Clearly, they're from sort of the upper tier. And then there's the shepherds from the lower tier. There's Mary and Joseph themselves, who were peasants. I mean, it's just, and Zacharias, who also was from the upper tier, and his wife Elizabeth. Like, take whatever mix you want. But it's clear that Jesus is clearly living right from the get-go a love for the entire human race. That vital energy is the very truest heavenly life. So that's interesting. This desire to really help people and really save people forever. That idea that we're playing the long game. That idea that is the truest heavenly life. And through it, he united himself to his divinity and his divinity to himself. His central being, and there think his soul, or Jehovah, is nothing but mercy, the product of love for the whole human race. And his life was one of pure love, which is impossible for any human being. I love that last line, right? Like, we can't pull it off. We will not be able to love everybody in this kind of beautiful, universal way. That is really, really tough to do as a human being. And that is saying, like, look, it's an impossibility, not going to happen. But we certainly can lean that direction, and we certainly can do the best we can following the Lord's message around this universal love. And remember, friends, like what it says, that's the truest form of heaven, the truest form of heaven. And again, that creates all kinds of space for all kinds of different perspectives on Christmas, for different perspectives on Jesus, for different perspectives of other religion. But our part is to do our bit. And, our bit is like a good restaurant, is to do what we do really well as Christians. What we do really well as Christians is we lean into this idea of Emmanuel, God with us. I feel like I've been saying that every time on 10 Minutes of Calm because it's such a beautiful concept. Really leaning into God with us. And that's where, friends, do think about that this message is for everyone. We can share from a very specific perspective, and we are to do that, just like a good restaurant, or a good Japanese restaurant, or Italian, or whatever. Our job is to be good at that thing. But it's also to know there are a lot of other good restaurants out there, a lot of other great ways to look at the world. Let's find our niche, let's lean into that, and share that as best we can, even the most universal of messages, which comes down to God's lovingness of all humanity. And it's interesting, a final aside is just a little aside on that word mercy. I'm a big podcast listener and listened to Walter Brueggemann a number of years ago. He's a famous Old Testament scholar, probably in his 90s by now. Amazing brain. And he mentioned that with that word mercy, that mercy sort of has this connotation in the Old Testament of womb-like mother love. I find that beautiful. That idea of that's so much God's perspective, sort of this very maternal and very paternal at the same time, love for all of humanity. And so let's do our best to reflect that this Christmas season, friends, and let's do our best to take a look at that and to see what it really means to get clear who this message is for. And the idea is everyone, just in the same way our love and our care should be for everyone. All right, dear friends, that's what I have. And what we're going to do now as we go through with New Church Live, we're going to slow it all down. So I'm going to ring a little prayer bell here. We'll do a little prayer. We'll do a little meditation. We'll then close with just saying goodbye to folks, because this is an archived one. But please leave your comments on the Facebook page, and we will return them in due course. So with that, dear friends, let's get a big breath and listen to the prayer bell. A little meditation. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I. Be still and know that. Be still and know. Be still and. Be still. Be. Our Father, who art in the heavens, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, as in heaven, so upon the earth. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we also forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you, bring you peace, and bring you home. Amen. All right, dear friends, wishing you all the very best as we continue on our way with celebrating Christmas. And yep, may you have a very, very good rest of your week. Take care. Bye-bye. Like our content? It's funded by viewers like you. Please consider becoming a sustaining supporter of New Church